for me, play is like, to deny the value of play in growth and learning is to say that you know better than nature. Because if you look at human beings, you know, we have a very long developmental period before we're able to look after ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
You know, a lot of animals are born fully functional. You know, we're not. You know, if our parents just left us, that's it.
We wouldn't last very long.
Exactly, it's game over. So there's this period, and it's
Game over.
Game over, exactly. Yeah, game over. There's no play there, and it's due to the complexity of humans. You know, it's not just the complexity of our incredible bodies and our beautiful brains, which, you know, some animals will replicate. It's the depth of our consciousness and everything that develops beyond there, and all of these things that science and spirituality are kind of coming together on over the last however many years. But the sheer depth of complexity. And if you look at human beings as well, you know, we're constructed, as we know, for that first 7 years where our brainwaves are sitting at the frequency of imagination. You know, this is why when a child's in the middle of a game and they're playing and, you know, something may break and you're trying to pull them out of it to get them serious again. No, they're still in the fantasy world. They're still going crazy. You're serious, but they don't realize they're still in the game because they're so immersed in it. And, you know, in this first 7 years, we are like a sponge and we absorb. Nature, which doesn't waste energy anywhere. Look across nature, it doesn't waste energy. Mm-hmm. It's what is the most efficient way to maximize this sponge-like period? Play. Mm-hmm. That's it. Play. Children play. And if you look at the progress from a baby, which is just is, you know, it just poos and cries basically, and, you know, breathes and opens and closes its eyes. There's not much more there. To then a 7-year-old who, you know, there's examples of 7-year-olds around the world who are unbelievably advanced. But even if you just look at a normal 7-year-old, like I say, normal, you know, what is normal? But if I look at my son, he's 6 years old. He's, you know, coming towards the end of this 7-year period. The conversations we have are unbelievable. I mean, his speed of development from being, you know, just this wriggling, cute thing, you know, in a cradle, to being this fully functional human being, able to, if he needs to, look after himself, articulate himself perfectly, solve problems whenever he needs to, be a kind, benevolent, loving being. Like, what? That happened in 6 or 7 years? Mm-hmm. You know, you look at some adults who go from 20 years old to 50 years old and don't evolve or grow in any way, shape or form, who've forgotten the art of play and try to force their way through things by just working hard and being serious. It's worrying. And it's like I said earlier, it comes back to, you know, if I look at the sheer speed at which I've developed since I've started infusing play into my life, it is because of those fundamental principles, because I've had no expectation. Now that sounds very unambitious, by the way, but I have no expectation. But what I mean is no attachment to an anticipated outcome. It's just